All right, here comes Sarah Jones to the cage, fighting out of Scorpion Fighting System in Michigan. Jones entering with an amateur record of no wins, one loss, so her second trip into the cage as she is getting looked over right now, making sure she's in good shape to fight, and she looks like she has taken her training seriously as we take a look at the Carbon World Health tail of the tape. These ladies coming in, fighting at 105. All right, so we got to see Jones. Here's Charity Labuy. Labuy 1-0-1. She does have a draw. She also almost has a six-pack. She's been doing some training on the midsection as she prepares for her third amateur fight as we take a look once again at the Carbon World Health tail of the tape. Once again, two evenly measured fighters, and both of them with limited amateur experience. Should be interesting as we see the ladies fight in the cage. Let's go once again up to Chris Garrity and the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout features 3 rounds in our amateur women's 105-pound catchweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the Coliseum Bar red corner. She weighed in at 106 ready pounds. She hails from Lansing, Michigan. She represents Scorpion Fighting System and in 3 amateur bouts has 2 victories. Welcome to the cage, Sarah Jones. Her opponent fighting out of the Harley-Davidson of Madison blue corner. She hails from Oshkosh, Wisconsin and is undefeated. 2 amateur bouts, 2 victories. She weighed in at 103 pounds and represents Unified Martial Arts, Charity Labuy.
I think I had the wrong record on Labuy earlier. Got it now. She's 2-0. Jones is 2-1. So actually some experience for both of these ladies in the ring. And here we go. And the crowds usually get loud for the ladies as Labuy almost a kick right to the throat of Jones, as both ladies seem pretty content with striking here early, but Labuy going for a takedown and Jones is having none of it.
Yeah, we got some good action going early here, not afraid to start the fight off. I'm just going to say it really quick because it's been really making me curious, but for some reason Sarah Jones has Band-Aids on each of her legs, and I did not know that it was allowed to go into a fight with Band-Aids on. That's kind of interesting to me. But anyway, some good work here against the cage by Sarah Jones. She's keeping her opponent pinned against that wall there and working those knees to the body.
Well, I would think that there's a good probability that those bandages are going to come off, and it already seems like one is making its way off of one of her legs right there, as now Jones and Labuy go to the ground. Jones is on top, but it seems like she's getting the worst of it right now from Labuy.
Yeah, right now Sarah Jones is, kind of where she wants to be. Needs to start getting that head up, get that posture up, get her butt a little closer to the floor. But, her opponent doing a good job. She's working those legs up, trying to get that triangle going, controlling the wrist, controlling her posture. See her relock those legs up, possibly working for an arm bar. See if she can cut that angle with her hips, but keeping herself safe right now while trying to set up the submission. And there we go. There she's going for an arm bar. Pretty good setup right there.
Labuy has it set up on Jones as she's in a bit of trouble here in round number 1, trying to escape from this arm bar that Labuy is putting her into.
Yeah, if Labuy wants a submission, she's got to uncross her feet. She's got to get that left leg by the head to chop down a little bit more and try to direct her head down and toward the mat to get her to roll over and get her back on the mat. Right now, Sarah Jones doing a good job of stacking her opponent, preventing her from getting an extension.
Boy, almost all of this stuff happening on cue as Gerald Mearshart calling it as it's happening right now, and Jones still trying to get that right arm free. That has been a problem for her here in the first round.
Gerald, talk about that technicality right there on an armbar. Why is that always a mistake young fighters make, crossing the ankles? What can they not remember about not doing that in an armbar?
So I feel like just naturally that people will tend to want to cross their feet there because, you know, it sounds like it's right, like, oh, I want to take away space by crossing my feet. And you would think that would make things tighter, but actually what it does is it makes your knees separate, which ultimately opens up the bite that you want on that arm. By unlocking your feet and pinching your knees together, it keeps that arm tight on the leg, letting you extend the arm and ultimately break it. Crossing your feet prevents that from happening.
Yeah, I would have thought the exact opposite thing, that you'd be able to use it like a vise or push down, gain some leverage, but it works against you. That's great stuff right there that you're getting from GM3. Good stuff from the ladies, too, in the first round of this fight. Round 2 coming up next on 57 Sports. Taking a look at first round action right here. A lot of trouble for Sarah Jones in the first round as she had that right arm basically taken away from her for the entire first round by Charity Labuy, but Labuy not able to get that arm bar on, and you guys explain why. That crossing of the feet working against her. She was trying to set that up. See if Jones's corner gives her a different strategy coming out here in round number 2, because whatever she tried in round number 1 did not work for her, as Labuy looking to stay perfect. She is 2-0 on her amateur career. She's not the only Labuy, by the way, that we are going to see tonight. We're taking a look at Charity now, and Courtney is going to be fighting a little bit later on.
Yeah, Jones seemed to definitely be more dominant fighter on the feet. Good idea by Charity to get it back to the ground. Going for that arm bar again now. If she can get her feet uncrossed and kind of get those legs to bite down a little bit more, pinch the knees together, she might be able to get it. She's definitely giving Jones some trouble and keeping herself safe, but you got to do something to improve your position or at least lock up a submission and then threaten your opponent to make it look like you're winning on the bottom in an MMA fight.
And I promise you, this is not a replay of the first round. We are actually in round number 2, but it seems like we're in the exact same spot that we were in the first round. So both fighters going with the same strategy.
She should be locking up a triangle right here, Gerald. She had it when she had the armbar initially, but again, she keeps crossing her legs and losing position on that. I would just figure a smooth transition over to a triangle might be a little bit better for her.
Correct, and the way she's climbing her legs up, it definitely seems like the triangle setup would be there. And again, you can transition very easily from a triangle to an armbar, or even take the arm while you have your opponent locked in a triangle. Important to point out too, there is a way to finish the armbar with your feet crossed and use the bite with pulling your legs towards you, but it's from a little bit different position than we're seeing here, which is why it's important to uncross those feet when going from the armbar from your back in that situation.
Jones able to escape now, kicking Labuy as she's very comfortable staying on the ground and on her back. She is in no hurry to try and get up right now. Jones is going to try and take advantage, continue to kick Labuy in the posterior and in the back of her thigh.
And for a fighter who's been using her legs from the bottom as well as Labuy has, taking this punishment in the thighs is not something you want to sit and keep doing either.
So now Jones on top once again, trying to get into a dominant position. Well, instead we'll take side control here from Labuy.
Yeah, Charity doing a good job on the bottom, trying to get that lockdown on that leg there and perhaps trying to shrimp back into a guard. Jones right now kind of in this reverse side control position. She really needs to beat that far side knee. You see how she's got her leg trap right now. She can beat that far side knee and turn back towards Charity. Then she can go to a side control or a mount, but now back out, got the leg free, and now she needs to work to secure that mount position or get a more solid side control in order to posture up and do some damage.
Final 10 seconds here in round number 2. Another spirited round between Labuy and Jones as we are going to go to a third and final round next here at Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 14 from Monona Terrace on 57 Sports. Replays here from our second round as both Jones and Labuy doing pretty well in what seemed to be, to me at least from watching it, a pretty even second round.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they score this. Do you score more heavily towards the limited striking they've been doing, or do you score in favor of the groundwork by Charity?
I think in that round, what always happens with judges in a round that's fairly even is they usually go with the fighter that ended up in the dominant position toward the end of the round. So this very easily could be a 1-to-1 going into this third and deciding round.
It has been a pretty even fight so far. We have not seen a whole lot of striking so far. When we have, it seems like Jones has gotten the better of it, and Labuy always wants to shoot that leg. She seems to be looking for it right now, but she's taking a couple shots here from Sarah Jones.
Yeah, if I'm in Jones's corner right now, I'm telling her to keep doing what she's doing right here. Keep your space. And if I'm in Charity's corner, tell her to do just that. Get in on those legs, get it to the mat. Maybe this time stay on top or at least secure those legs and work for that triangle.
Every time there's a slight opening, Labuy shoots that leg, comes in. Jones has not had an answer for it right now. Still trying to stay on her feet and using leverage as she pushes Labuy against the cage.
Yeah, Jones doing a good job here, kind of pinning her against the cage, just landing some Ds. Even from here, when she is this dominant control position, she can make some space, try to break off, get back to the middle of the cage where she can work some of those longer strikes and stay out of the wrestling range of Charity.
Yeah, if I'm Jones, I'm backing out of this as quick as possible. She was easily a longer, more dominant fighter on the feet. She just has to protect herself against a takedown.
Labuy trying to get it to the mat, and she trips Jones and takes her down once again. Jones in trouble. She might have been better served to back away, like you said, Chris.
Yeah, she was in her corner. I didn't really hear if they were giving her any advice, but if they weren't telling her to break off that clinch, then they were telling her the wrong thing.
Right here, enough. Charity wants to put a stamp on this fight. She needs to, do what I've been saying all night for a lot of these amateurs. Posture up, do some damage, establish that top control, and really put a stamp on the fight. As Chris was saying, the judges really score it when it's an even round for who ends up in the dominant position. But if you can make a case even in the middle of the round and, do some flashy moves or some really dominant ground and pound, it can go a long way in swinging the judges to your favor.
Yeah, at this point, at the slow pace this fight has been, the judges are looking for those dynamic tidbits to kind of sway. One thing judges hate doing, one thing fans hate seeing, one thing fighters hate being in are draws. So they're going to try and find any way possible to give somebody a win. So right now is where you got to figure that out.
Well, we got a really tight triangle set up by Jones on the bottom. If she can just walk her body to her left a little bit more and adjust that triangle position. Even with that arm in, Charity is in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, Labuy trying to get out of it. Yeah, you can see the strain on her face. She is in trouble right here. Jones is in control right now of Charity Labuy, and Labuy unable to break free from the vice grip of the legs of Sarah Jones.
Yeah. Right now, if I'm Jones's corner, I'm yelling to get that head down, and she might be able to get the tap, but short time here. She'll probably survive the end of this round.
And there it is, the final whistle for the end of round number 3. That means this fight now is in the hands of the judges. We'll get the official decision right after this. Jones and Labuy and Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 14 on 57 Sports. Action from round number 3 between Jones and Labuy. It looked like Labuy had the advantage early on in this round, but it was Sarah Jones who nearly locked in the triangle and won this fight without it going the distance, Gerald.
Yeah, in my opinion, Jones kind of stole that round. It'll be interesting to see what the judges call it, but I'm thinking Jones won that fight.
It was a pretty even fight. We had it 1-1 going to the final round, so we'll see if the judges agreed with us as Chris Garrity is back up in the cage right now to give us the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to an official decision, one more round of applause for a great fight. After 3 rounds of 105-pound women's action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges have scored this bout the same, 29-28 in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, and fighting out of the red corner, Sarah Jones.
We all had it scored the same way, as it was Jones in that final round getting that triangle locked on to Labuy that was able to get the round for her and ultimately the victory. Sarah Jones improves to 3-1 as she beats Charity Labuy.